good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Full-Time Sports Network's Cop Talk, the only place to be on a Thursday night, right here on YouTube with my tremendous panel. So we have got a new face on the panel today, Dr. Blake. We're going to bring him up, Dr. Blake. Welcome on board, sir. Nice to have you on board, sir.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Have you got your song ready?
I don't, but I can impro though. I can impro. There's always a scissor tune like just ready to fire. So, boy, I've got something. I've got something.
Okay. I like that. Say big shouts goes out, Mr. Preds. How we doing, sir?
I'm all right. It's hot, it's stuffy, but hey, listen, it's Thursday night and it's Cop Talk night.
But it's not as hot as it's been the last few nights, though. It's kind of...
It's a bit stuffy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit, you know what I mean?
Well, saying that, I've just finished training. So I come from training, so I'm trying to calm down a bit.
Okay.
You still playing, bro?
Stoney. How you doing?
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm fine. If Mr. Blake can go quick, because I think he had a question to Preds, and I'll come in after. So go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying, are you still playing?
Oh, good grief, no.
Okay, I was going to say, because mine needs a shot, but yeah, okay, sorry.
Coaching, mate. I only come out once a year, mate. That's for Cop Talk against the Man United agenda.
Big man. Sorry, Stoney, sorry.
Hey, listen, hold on. As you say that, hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, he's going to get the trophy.
He's going to get the trophy.
Let the public know this ain't no joke thing. This ain't no gal thing, yeah? It's here. It's live. Yeah? It's live.
Okay, nice.
Winners.
Nice.
Winners,
yeah?
Winners.
Big shouts goes out Juxi, Lemsip, and AJ. My brothers, may you all rest in peace. We did this for you, man. Liverpool supporters, we couldn't let the scum beat us, you know what I mean? Wasn't happening. We just made it exciting and gave them a 2-0 head start, that's all.
Nice, man.
Gave them a bit of false hope, you know what I mean? Yeah. We came back and took the cup. Yeah, lovely. Might just sit with me still. Yeah.
Now over to you, Stoney. Hello, Stoney. How are you?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much, Preds. Thank you very much for asking. Do you know what? I actually thought it was strange. I know this show's going to be focused on centre backs. I decided to do a little throwback to 2003, 2004.
I see that your Reebok
with Mr. Gerard Houllier. And I was trying to figure out why I ended up actually buying this top. And for the life of me, I cannot remember, because that season we had players like Igor Biscan. I think we had Cinema Pongol. We had players like Milan Baros. So I'm trying to think. I don't know why I ended up with this top, but I've got it
because
anyway.
we won the Champions League in that top.
Yeah.
Oh no, but
we did. That we did.
Maybe that could have been why. I have no idea.
What you need to do is invest in one of these customs, Stone. You get me? That's what you need to do. Yeah? Yeah.
Hey, listen, the tracksuit is the one. The Cop Talk tracksuit is the one.
Don't worry, man. We're gonna hook it up.
I need that.
Don't worry, man. We got you, bro. Yeah, so this week, people, do you remember? Hit that like, that share, and subscribe. We are going to be talking about centre backs this week. We did goalkeepers, we've done right backs, we've done left backs. We move on to centre backs. So this time, we're not just going to pick one centre back. We want the centre back pairing. So we're going to pick two. So there's quite a few to get through. And I'll hold up my hands, and please forgive me if anybody thinks I've missed any. But this is the list I'm going with today, this week. Yeah? Simple as that. Okay. So before we kick that off, peoples, it's all about the transfer talk. Everybody's heard about the player that we're going for from RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
So, and the talk is that he's got a release clause that needs to be met by tomorrow, apparently. And the talk is that they're giving Liverpool 2 days to meet that release clause, which will work out to be about £55 million. It's about 70 million euros. So they're giving the next 2 days to meet that release clause if they seriously want him. I was actually looking at, because obviously I don't really know much about his player, but I was looking at his stats, and as a midfielder, he does score goals. So he does score a few goals, and I think that's definitely something that we are missing. Where are we at? Where's his stats now? So for his national team for Hungary, he's played in 2021. He played 5 games, got 2 goals. in 2023, played 6 games, got 3 goals and 2 assists. In the Bundesliga, played 31 games in 2022. He played 31 games again in 2023. So it's consistent. That's one thing. We're like with injuries. 6 goals and 8 assists in both seasons. So he can score a goal, can set up, can give an assist. I definitely think that's something that we can definitely utilize, man. 100%. So looking decent. Not sure about the price tag, to be fair. When you can
who's the lad? Who's the young lad who Klopp signed? This is like his first signing. What was his name? Is it not Croatian? The Serbian boy.
Grulic.
Yeah. This guy here is better than Grulic, and I think he's coming at a similar age as well. So but this boy's been pulling up trees and been doing really well. Very smart, very intelligent, especially for a young player as well. And man, I didn't know this until earlier today, but if we get this one done, we've got a player as well, man.
Well, definitely. But there's some surprising news. People are saying that we still need another 3 players or so, 3 and 4 players to come in. But apparently we've only got 2 spaces left, 2 squad spaces left. Our English quota is full up already. We've got 8 English players, registered English players, but we've only got another 2 spaces left. So really, realistically, if we was to buy 4 players, we could only really register 2 of them to actually play, unless we take out some we've already got.
So this is where it makes the decision to give Adrian a new contract absolutely mind-boggling. So he's taken up one of those spaces. So look, I'm just ready that if I see a James Pearce article talking about Liverpool wanted to sign Szoboszlai, but they couldn't because of the homegrown quota and all that, I'm just ready for the PR nonsense to come from this club. Because realistically, if you're in that position, you do not give Adrian a new contract. It makes no sense. So we'll see. But
all right, stick a pin right there, Doctor. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Good evening, Teacher. Nice to have you, Big Teach. Teach is saying I posted this kid months ago. I tell you, Teach is one he knows a good few players, to be fair, and he does get about them early. So nice one about that, Teach. Okay, but all right. So Dr. Blake, listen, right? The thing is, they normally have 3 keepers in the side. So if you are going to keep Adrian, then it's got to be Alisson, Kelleher, and Adrian.
Yeah, but at the moment, did they not say that Kelleher was looking to move?
No, but they said he's not going to go no more.
Oh, he's not going no more.
Yeah, they said no. Klopp doesn't want him to go. He wants to keep him, and I don't blame him.
And then you're right. Even if it was something that we did have, or we were required to have 3 keepers in the squad, then even if Kelleher was to go out on loan, then we'd probably have to bring up either one of our under 21 goalies, or then purchase another goalie. Either way, we'd still need 3 in the squad.
Yeah, always 3 in the squad. Yeah, we know. I know that, Teach. Under 21s, we know that. Right, well, I do that on Football Manager, mate.
So, but this is the thing, though. But couldn't Adrian? Because essentially he's not playing games, right? My understanding is his main thing is to be there for the goalkeepers coaching and for the drills and whatnot. So in theory, like we could, I guess, change the arrangement somehow that he could still have some kind of like training role, but he's not going to take up an actual squad place. I'm not sure.
That means like Stody was saying, we'd have to bring up somebody or we'd have to buy somebody.
Yeah, and even like what teachers obviously just put in a chat about the under 21s don't need to register. I'm not too sure which under 21s or our academy have obviously been playing well last season and then would have the possibility to come up to the main team. But if we're just thinking about any of our players that were around under 21 this season, you're only looking at Stefan, if he comes back, and Harvey Elliott. To my knowledge, those would only have been the under 21s, because I think Calvin Ramsey, he went out on loan to Preston. He's coming back. Is he going to be ready to be part of our first team squad? I'm unsure.
He was out injured, isn't it?
Yeah, when he was at Preston. Injured. So even in terms of that, it would only have been those 2 players anyway. But as I said, I'm sure there's more players in the fold.
Yeah. What about the lad Morton?
Tyler Morton.
But did he not get injured though when he was on loan? But I think he got injured when he was on loan. But
Yeah,
again, but he's another one as well.
Reece Williams is going to loan in Aberdeen.
Yeah, he's gone, isn't he? Yeah,
as well. He's another one going on loan to Aberdeen.
Reece can't come back.
He's supposed to be part of our quota, actually, part of our English quota, part of one of the 8 players.
Reece can't come back.
Nah. I don't think he's good enough.
Listen, Reece was a hero for us in that season when we got a third, when all the centre backs were out injured. But I remember watching a game where we were caught on the counter attack. Reece, I kid you not, is trying to cover to get back, and the referee is leaving him behind.
Yeah,
like
I remember.
Absolutely love the guy. And if we're gonna change tactics and start doing the whole parking the bus routine, fine, it's a different situation. But if we're gonna have a high line, Reece has got no future. You can't be 20 and the worst thing is the ref was actually leaving him. Like, the gap's growing. Can't run.
Listen, my fingers, my toes, everything's crossed that we just get this deal done.
Thuram, yeah?
I just want this deal done. Seriously. I do. Get this deal done and probably get that young boy in as well from RB Leipzig. I think we'll be good with that. And then if we can, we get a one defender. And I think we're good to go. We're ready to go for the season. But I'd like to get them in now, because I heard on TalkSport them talking about pre-season starts next week.
Yeah.
Well, that would be quite early, but even with those the acquisitions, and I could be completely incorrect on this, all right? I wonder if we're probably going to wait for the under-21s to finish before finalizing the deals. However, and don't quote me, and this is what I was going to ask you guys, gents. Tonali was obviously playing in the under-21s. Has he already been declared as a Newcastle player already, or is that still pending?
I think that's still pending. Yeah, that's still pending.
No, so my understanding
Newcastle are after the same guy from RB Leipzig as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So my understanding with that one, and I always have to kind of think, I'm a bit hostile towards FSG, so I need to be patient and be fair. Now, my understanding is the Tonali deal has been agreed, but there is this it's possible that Italy have got different rules to France. So the French setup are basically saying no deals to be agreed during the tournament, whereas the Italians are saying deals can be agreed. So I don't know if the different camps have got various rules. However, that deal has been agreed. So it depends on what's the club stance and obviously what's the situation with France. But yeah, it could just be that the French national team are basically saying we want to wait until the tournament's finished.
Okay.
That's very interesting to know,
Okay. Right, gentlemen. We are going to kick off with the centre backs, gentlemen. I hope you're ready, lads, because you know what? We got quite a bit to get through. I'm not going to mess about. We got quite a bit to get through. Going to send a massive shout goes out to the Amateur Football Podcast. Big shouts here. He hasn't been on for a couple of weeks, actually. He was giving us some joke last time he was on. Yeah, there could be a bounce with him, mate, right? All right, gentlemen. Who is this player now? Birthplace is Wandsworth, South London. Other clubs, Millwall, Tottenham, Millwall again, Southampton, Tottenham again, QPR, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Swindon. We bought him from Tottenham for 2.5 mil. One international cap. Liverpool debut in 1993, last appearance 97. His win ratio was 50%. His honours was a League Cup in 1995. League games, goals and assists, 115, 11 goals, 3 assists. Total games, 152, 12 goals, 6 assists. Who am I talking about?
I've got a decent idea, but I don't want to say it and then I'm wrong. But I'm gonna.
That's what it's.
Okay. What you're here for.
Paul Stewart.
Hold on. Man said John Scales. I'll just let you know from now that he didn't make the list.
So John Scales came from Wimbledon, didn't he? Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Good shout. Big shouts, Leon B. How you doing, my brother? Nice to have you on board. Anybody know who it is?
He said he was at Crystal Palace.
As well as all the others, yeah. Tottenham
we
twice.
Got not Neil Ruddock. You're not talking about Neil Ruddock, are you?
Thank you very much, Preds.
Oh.
Was it Ruddock?
Oh, Razor Ruddock, gentlemen. Razor Ruddock. Okay, so seeing as he's the new boy on the show, we're going to let you go first. So talk to us about Razor Ruddock. What's really going to happen here, Ross, is you're going to talk about these players. You're going to let us know if you think he's going to be in your top. Main thing is your top 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
So you talk to me about Razor Ruddock.
Absolutely no chance that he makes the top 3. Absolutely no chance. However,
you don't cut no chance, does he?
Just got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. However, big up Ruddock, because I can remember as a youth watching the game against Man U.
Of course. Come on.
And being 3-0 down and feeling like the world was going to end.
For that. Always.
100.
Always.
So
he came out, did his hair, got injured.
Yeah, and you know what? He's one of these players where you think to yourself, if you took the game maybe slightly more seriously, he may have been a better player, because absolutely wonderful left foot, strong in the air, like read the game well. But you know them man who just you can see just like enjoyed a certain lifestyle. Pints, chips, peas, mash. So you wonder if that actually held him back to a certain extent. But no, for that one moment, absolute ratings. But like he can't even see a top 20 personally, but but that's me.
Ooh, that's harsh. Ooh. Yeah, I must say, Ruddock will always be a hero for me for that, and I never forget that. I was at the time I was watching that game over with two of my mates in Badham, both Arsenal fans, and they were roasting me because we was 3-0 down. So you can imagine what it was feeling like for me when we started that comeback. I tell you, great. I think it was Nigel Clough who got one of the others as well, if I remember rightly. It's Nigel Clough, yeah.
Yeah, Cloughie hit that kind of half volley in it. That was it, the half volley hit that kind of like fizzed off the ground, kind of.
That's the one.
Yeah, he's a good player, Cloughie.
Okay, man. Stoney, Razor Ruddock.
I'm probably similar to Mr. Blakey there. He wasn't even on my radar. I think that the thing with this week's show, I know it's to do with looking at centre backs that have played for Liverpool and who get into our primarily within our top 3 and who will get into our number 1. Some of those may be to do with the honours or impact they've actually had for playing for Liverpool. And I think if we look at someone like Ruddock, he was capable of playing, as he said, a centre back. He actually played sweeper for us a couple of times, and even as a defensive midfielder for us as well. But he left his career with like 0 honours. I mean, like 0 honours. And the only thing, in a strange way, that I do remember Ruddock.
He got a League Cup, man.
Did he?
He got a League Cup in 95.
Oh, I'll take that back. I do apologize.
League Cup in 95, bro.
Okay. The only thing that I do remember Neil Ruddock for, and unfortunately it's not a good thing, is actually breaking Andy Cole's legs. That's the only thing that I actually remember. Neil Ruddock. Obviously he had that older type, Wimbledon type, bother boy, strong, Stuart Pearce, go through you type defending. But that's all I really remember Neil Ruddock for. Unfortunately, for is the leg breaks. I can't remember him having any, apart from what you guys have mentioned, real important impact for Liverpool. So, unfortunately, I do apologize, Neil Ruddock, if you're watching this show, you're not getting into my top 10.
Okay, Preds.
Razor Ruddock. Well, firstly, he was a cornerstone of the Spice Boys.
Yeah.
White suit.
Like Stan Collymore.
Yeah, he was the patriarch there, should I say. Listen, he was a big committed defender, and Blakey was actually right. I agree with Blakey when he said this. He actually, you know what, when he could play, he played, and he had a sweet left foot.
Of course he did.
Yeah, and he can play, and he read the game, and he was just the last knock-ins, the last breed of that old school footballer mentality, where it's like, after a game, go down the pub, beer all weekend, end up on the back page of the news of the world. You know what I mean? On a Sunday,
and do it all over again next week.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He was the last of the dying breed then, and then I remember Houllier came in, and then Houllier kind of had the same effect that Arsene Wenger had with Arsenal. He just brought this new professionalism in, and Razor was on his way out, mate. There was no way. I agree. Razor will struggle to be in my top 10. But I got to be honest, he was a character. The goal he scored against Man United, I forever hold in my heart. And yeah, he was just a big jovial character, wasn't he? But yeah,
even now he's the same. His balance is too much, man.
Yeah,
too funny, man. Seriously, he did 12 goals and 6 assists. Not bad for a centre half, you know. It's not bad figures. I'm telling you, but I don't think people really realise how sweet his left peg was.
He can.
His left peg was mustard, mate.
You know how you see Van Dijk doing those diags.
He was doing that back then.
He was doing it back then, like just zoom, zoom. It's just the fact that, you know, one week he'll be like on it, and then next week it seemed like he's had a couple of burgers, a couple of pints, and everything. And next thing you know, like he couldn't run up a travelator. He couldn't run up a travelator.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so that's Mr. Neil Razor Ruddock. Good evening, Mr. B. That's from Man United Agenda. Nice to have you on board, sir. I like that, man. Mr. B pops in every week. I like that, man. He wants to tease some ideas for the Man United Agenda. You know what I mean? It's all right. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Oh, Mr. B, while you're watching, by the way, you recognize this? You were so close, man. You were so close. I didn't cop.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Okay. We move on, gentlemen. We move on. Let's check this guy's knowledge, man. Okay, so next we have a player that was born in Liverpool. Other clubs include Derby County on loan, Hull City on loan, Everton, Sheffield United on loan, Birmingham, Wycombe Wanderers on loan, Blackpool, and Long Island Rough Riders. Never heard of them. Local boy, signed for the LFC, joined in October 1981. And joined as a professional in 1983. Liverpool debut in 1986. He only played international at under 21 level. His win ratio is 53.74%. His honours include League Championship 87-88, 89-90, FA Cup 89, League games, goals and assists 109, 1 and 9. Total games, goals and assists 147, 1 and 11. There was a big clue in that, in who he was, in the clubs that he played for.
Say the clubs again.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that one. I can't even lie. I'm struggling.
Derby, Hull, Everton, Sheffield United, Birmingham, Wycombe, Blackpool, and Long Island Rough Riders.
Everton,
Liverpool. On the right tip there. That's the clue.
Everton, centre back.
He's the only player to have won the FA Cup with both clubs. He's actually won it with Liverpool and with Everton.
1981.
Gary Ablett.
Well done, Preds. That's 2 out of 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Preds is on smoke.
God rest his
I like it, bro.
That's very good.
Preds is on smoke.
That's very good.
Stoney, you're lucky this ain't the quiz here, Stoney.
I know.
Preds on one right now. All right.
Okay.
Dr. Ray, talk to me. Gary Ablett.
Again, good player, and obviously he came through at a time where the club were dominant. For me, a good player in a great team versus a great player in a good team. But I just think, like any Liverpool player that's won the league title just needs to get like special ratings. Again, not in the top 10 for me, but again, shout out to that team like for the 80s.
Okay. Stoney.
Yeah, do you know, I think, and as you said, once again, your knowledge is amazing. Deeply appreciate for enlightening me on that. Preds as well. I think during that period of time, 81, and I've mentioned on previous shows that would have been around the time, a few years prior to that would have started supporting Liverpool. But I completely forgot about Gary Ablett. I'm not going to mention the other defenders that were currently playing for Liverpool because I know at some stage Artie's going to bring them up. But there were another 3 or 4 other defenders that were actually playing at that time in 80, 1980, 1981, and I think them times Ablett probably would have been about 18, but that's why he was never ever on my radar. So I can't speak too much about him because my knowledge is limited. So I definitely have to hold my hands up on that. I just know that we bought him when he was young.
Okay. Yep. Didn't buy him. He was a local boy.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. We didn't. He was a free purchase, basically. Yep.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Fanatic. Nice to have you on board. And yes, he was a centre back, 100%. As Preds is going to tell you.
Well, he started in the first team at left back,
Mm-hmm.
and he was and he was coming in as fringes, and then I think it was, Alan Hansen was injured, and he came in and he formed a partnership with, and I don't know whether he's going to be on your list, but Glenn Hussein.
Mm-hmm.
He formed a partnership. But first and foremost, rest in peace, Gary Ablett. He served the club well with distinction as well, playing and also coaching as well. And he was one of those players that, he wasn't the one that would go and score you 20 odd goals or X, Y, and Z. He was just one of those integral.
He got one.
Yeah, he got one, but he was one of those. Yeah, but he was one of those players that people don't really talk about, but they don't see the job he does or
the defending work.
Yeah, and he was just an out and out defender, and I remember his tackles and his it was really weird. Remember Glenn Hussein came in and Gary Ablett came in at centre back because Alan Hansen had a really bad injury, and then to just hit it off like a house on fire. So yeah, listen, all plaudits to Gary Ablett, mate.
Remember Glenn Hussein, man. That guy always looked old, man.
Yeah, man.
Just forever look old. Trust me.
He was like the Swedish. He was like the Swedish Baresi, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, swear he was born with grey hair, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Gary Ablett. What does he make it into your top 10, Prince?
Gary Ablett. Yes. He makes it. He makes it for me for what he done for the club and his work ethic, and and what he. Yeah, I'll put him.
What did you say? Did you say he makes it into your top 10?
Me,
in my top 10.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah, you Ross.
Oh yeah, nah.
Okay.
Nah, he's not in mine.
Okay.
Maybe top 15, but 10, nah.
Okay. All right.
That one's, to be fair, it is pulling on the heartstrings, you know what I mean? So I think put him in the top 10.
Okay. All right, we move on, gentlemen. Next player, who am I? All right. Clubs include, never heard of this, Trentin, Zenit St. Petersburg, Fenerbahce, Atalanta, Istanbul, and Spartak. Bought him from Zenit St. Petersburg for 6.5 million. International caps, 104. 6 goals. Liverpool debut 2008, last appearance 2016. Win ratio was 49.6%. Honours, he won a League Cup in 2012. League games, goals, assists, 242, 16 goals, 5 assists. That's big. Total games, goals, and assists, 320, 18 goals, 5 assists. Who am I talking about, gentlemen?
Is it am I allowed to say who I think it is?
Go for it, man.
Is it Mr. Martin Skrtel?
Well done, Stoney. All right. Stoney's on the comeback trail, 2-1 to Prince at the moment. Don't worry.
I'll let him. Because he's so polite. I'll let him. Go on, mate.
What, you cheating like the Man United agenda?
Go on, have it.
Beat them up neatly. All right. So, Ross, talk to me about Mr. Martin Skrtel.
So, first thing to say, I wish he had grown his hair whilst he was playing for us, because that bald head savage look just don't work. Seriously, it don't work. And
you look like a doorman, innit?
Yeah, and then I see him in a charity match about 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, so but Skrtel's got hair, right? Okay, but so it just looked a bit different. And sometimes like the way you look can almost inform the way you play. And I just felt like he had this hard man routine that was just unnecessary. And I actually think if he added a bit of composure to his game, I think he would have been a much more effective player. But a player who always got into physical battles with players, like couldn't couldn't sometimes just back up, give it space, read the situation. And I just felt if he came against a striker that had good feet and a bit of pace, yeah, it was nightmares. But in the right partnership, in the right tactical system, with the right leader behind him, like he could actually be quite effective and obviously very good at set pieces as well.
18 goals says I've said so.
Yeah, like he was actually a player that could have achieved a lot more. But you just think, is it coaching? Is it the tactical setup, or essentially was he just limited in terms of his like impulse control and decision making and whatnot? But I actually quite liked the player and thought he could have been quite effective for us. But yeah, can't see top 10 though.
Okay. Kodak said, yeah, he was tough. Not everybody needs the David Beckham look. Too right. Stoney, Mr. Martin Skirtle, seeing as you got that one.
Okay, no, fine. As you said, once again, good evening, Mr. Fanatic. Mr. Fanatic is an Aston Villa supporter. So yeah, praise be. He's part of the family community as well. So thanks very much for tuning in. When Skirtle actually played for us, he was actually in an all right team, wasn't he? Was it Gerard Houllier was our manager? So he was in the team. Gerard was in, Torres was in there, Pepe Reina was in goal.
He only won one trophy, you know.
I know Mascherano was there. Who was still there? Carragher was still there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then you've got, I'm not going to mention the other two defenders because I know they're probably going to come up in your conversation as well. But there was a couple of, we've already gone through right back, haven't we, in the show?
Yeah.
All right. So I can mention the other right back that was there at that time. So Carragher was probably playing right back at some of the times there as well. So, I mean, defensive pairing, he was all right. But yeah, I don't know. The other player that he had a partnership with, and I'm not going to mention because you're going to be, I'm sure they're going to come up soon. He had a good partnership, but was he good enough to say that he's going to be in my top 10? I'm not too sure. Question mark. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll probably go down as an important player for us under Houllier. But yeah, definitely not in my top 10.
Okay, Freds.
Yeah, you know what? I liked him in regards because he was willing. He was a willing fella. He put his head in where it hurts. Like I said, a good centre half would do. He did kind of adopt that kind of, what did you say, Blakey? That tough man image.
It's a hard man vibe, man.
Yeah, the hard man. But the thing is, how many times did he miss time tackles?
Yeah,
and it didn't look clumsy. On times it looked reckless.
Malicious.
Yeah, and it just looked like someone. It's just like something. He just went out there and he's going to go and kick someone. And then when he formed a partnership with another centre half, which I'm sure he's going to come up thinking on paper, you would say, you know what, that's a very good pairing. One centre half who's good on the ball, left-footed, and very comfortable, and you have Skirtle who wasn't so comfortable on the ball, but he got into the physical battles and stuff, but he didn't win as many physical battles as he should have done. And the way he looked, the way he looked, as in the hard man image, he should have won a lot more.
I'm telling you.
And he came, I think we
you don't want to buck him up on a dark night down the alley, bro. I tell you that.
No.
Man's crossing the road, rude boy.
We bought him on good pedigree as well because I think he won quite a lot of player awards before he came to us as well. Was he playing it? He's was from Slovenia, right? Or was he playing Slovakia? Right. So I think he was playing in
St. Petersburg.
Petersburg.
Yeah. So I know he had played. He had won quite a lot of individual player awards before we bought him. So I mean, his stock was high before he came to us. But I'm just probably thinking maybe at that period of time in the Premiership, we probably had other teams that had defenders that were probably performing at a higher level than he was. So, yeah.
He was injured. He was quite injured a lot as well.
Yeah, he did have a few injuries. Yeah,
he had a few injuries as well.
He probably brought them on himself, to be fair.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
So that's probably why we had all of the other centre-backs as well.
Good evening, Chris Walsh. Nice to have you on board. Yep, we're all good here. He said he liked Skirtle, to be honest. You're one of your kind of players, yeah? Definitely not a Sacco who acted like he was dancing on ice. Come, you got to be grumpy. None of this soft nonsense. Okay. Yeah. I do like a player who gets stuck into. You know what I mean? It's got to be a bit sensible, not just reckless. All right, we move on from Martin Skirtle. Who am I, gentlemen? Played at Hamburg, Blackburn Rovers, Celtic, Wigan, and Blackburn Rovers again. We bought him from Blackburn Rovers for 3.5 million. International caps, 72. He signed for Liverpool in 1999. His last appearance was 2004. His win ratio was 55.12%, and his honours included FA Cup 2001, League Cup 2001, 2003, UEFA Cup 2001, European Super Cup 2001. League games, goals, assists, 135. No goals, no assists. Total games, 205. No goals, no assists. Stoney's got his finger. So you make it 2-2, or he's going to hit the post. Or we're getting on this one.
Is his initials SH?
Stefan Hencho?
Yeah.
I love my panel. I love my panel, mate. Love my panel.
I remember we bought him.
Stefan Honcho. All right. Dr. Blake, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Honcho, another one. Similar vein.
Hold on. Man said Jason McAteer. No, we are talking about centre halves. Yeah, centre halves. You must be an Aston Villa fan for real.
He's taking a mic there. Yeah, Honcho. A similar type to Skirtle, but just a bit more street smarts about it. Like, I guess, understood the intangibles of defending just a little bit more, when to lean in, when to commit a bad foul, when to be clever, when to be just a bit underhand, almost like a bit of a poor man's Carvalho from Chelsea, if you see what I'm saying. Like the way he got away with that handball against Henry in the 2001 FA Cup final. You know, one of those kinds of players that could just get away with cheating because they did it well. Like I've always appreciated guys like that. I'm all for the dark arts if you can do it well. And I think what he was able to do was he was able to form a very good partnership. So like I almost feel that the partnership that he could form was almost of a higher level than he was as an individual player. So yeah, now like I rate Honcho highly still. Like I'm a fan.
Okay. Does he make it to your top 10?
I think he probably does, you know. Personally, yeah, I think he's probably around 10.
Okay.
I liked Honcho, man. I liked him a lot still. I can't lie, I liked him.
Okay. For that extent, he went for a break, yeah? That's why he missed out. All right. Tony, Stefan Honcho.
Yeah, I think it's a strange one as well. Even though, as he said, even though I know that we're focused on, you know, speaking about centre-backs and centre-back pairings. You won a Super Cup with us, won a League Cup. You won a UEFA Cup.
That's right.
You won the UEFA Cup with us as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we got and what else did he won? He won the
Cup.
I would call the Milk Cup. He won the Milk Cup twice as well, and you know it's still called the Milk Cup. I don't care. He won 2 League Cups for us as well. It's as simple as that. Yeah, good servant for us. As I said once again, I'm not too sure whether he'd make it into my top 10. My focus, unfortunately, is still about the top 3. Even prior to the show, when you were asking us to think about centre backs that played for Liverpool, he wasn't even on my radar. So similar to Mr. Ablett, I do have to apologize. Doesn't make it in my top 10.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Solo. Another one from the Man United agenda. Solo, how we doing, sir? Good.
Wow.
Lovely. I'm just waiting for Zach now. That's what I'm waiting for. Mr. Omoni, that's what I'm waiting for next. That's only one missing to complete the hat trick. So, Prince, talk to me.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't say it lightly, and I don't ever want to say it again. But Stoney, how dare you?
No, it's true.
700, bruv. The partnership with him and oh my god, he's gone out my head now. Oh my god.
Don't worry, I'll be mentioning him. Don't worry.
Okay, yeah, with the other centre half in the treble winning season as well, and he looked very unassuming. Like, you know what I mean? Very unassuming. And initially, he had a few injuries and it was a slow start. But when he got going, this guy was silky, man. This was class. This guy was. It was like he was like a Vauxhall with a Aston Martin engine. He was just.
I like that. I know what you mean, because he looked like a hot mess.
Yeah.
But he moved well.
But you know what? It's funny. Oh, just think a minute. Just think a bit there, Prez. It's funny. I like these comparisons. Like you see, Stoney, when we all said it, it's all about opinions.
Yeah.
So, right, Dr. Blake now was just saying he was similar to Skirtle, but now as Prez is saying he was silky, he was class. I remember him being a classy player still. He did a few things, but for me, I really did like him as a player. And I think it wasn't. I don't know if it was just down to him. Maybe it was because of the partnership and it was solid. But I liked him, man.
So he's
a hero. He's a hero amongst all Liverpool fans for that one incident in the FA Cup final when he, Blakey said
the handball.
The
dark arts. The referee.
And you can see his face. He's like his poker face is like, and it was like, mate, it's brilliant. And I think, he was I liked him, mate. I really did.
So where does he get into your list?
He gets into my top 10.
Whereabouts in your top 10 would you say?
Number 10.
I'd say between 9 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah, gentlemen, listen, I got some pages here to go through, you know. We've only just started. This is the tip of the this is the tip of the iceberg.
Come on, then.
Only just started. All right, it's not even getting warm. I might need a top up in a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to another one. This one definitely was, I must say, one of my favorites because of the way he played the game. Okay, so other clubs include. Imagine this. Brøndby.
Daniel Agger.
Brøndby.
Daniel Agger, come on, man. I need to get one right. I need to get one today, innit? I need to get one.
I just realised this, you know. His other clubs was Brøndby, 96 to 2006, and then Brøndby again from 2014 to 2016.
Love that.
So it's a two club man.
Didn't he end up?
He had a lot of injuries, though.
Yeah.
He did have a lot of injuries. We bought him from Brøndby. For 5.8 million in 2006. He made 75, and 12 goals. And his win ratio was 55.6%. His honours included a League Cup 2012, league games, goals and assists 175, 9 and 6. Total games, goals and assists 232, 14 and 8.
So you see what's interesting there, RT, and that's a good thing about the show, and I think it's a brilliant thing about the nature of us speaking about all of the players that have actually played for Liverpool. I think at some stage we're all going to be able to articulate why Daniel Agger has obviously been revered and a good player playing for us. But look at the other side of that. There's going to be players that are going to form our top list are going to be decorated with honours galore. And they're going to be players that are probably going to come out with probably one honour or 2 or 3 in the case of Agger and still make it up there. Because what he won, he didn't win a league. He didn't win nothing.
He won one trophy.
One.
So
that's what I'm saying. So we're going to be speaking about. We're going to be speaking about a
the
player.
League Cup.
That's what I'm
2012.
saying. So we're speaking about a player.
I don't care.
That's going to be in our top 3, and the conversation
baller.
Is he's coming away. I'm sure Luke Chadwick at Man United end up having more silverware than Agger. And these are the conversations that we're going to be having here.
It's true. This is what makes this thing so great. So a big shout goes out to Adrian Lewis. Nice to have you on board, bro. A little bro says, "Good evening, gents." He says Agger was class and that left peg. Yeah, damn right. No, he was. As a baller, he was mustard, mate. Mustard as a baller and as a defender. Mustard. I can't knock it. Trust me. But he did have a hell of a lot of injuries. That was one thing with Agger. I must remember that he did have a hell of a lot of injuries, man. So, Dr. Blake, what are you saying, man? Daniel Agger.
So you know what? Go like I guess back to the point that was just made. I think there is this distinction between being a great player and having a great career. And I just think there's so many great players who didn't have great careers because of their time at the club, um, management, funds. I think there's so many different kind of I guess factors that makes you win something. If I just think about our current captain, who is arguably the most successful Liverpool captain of the Premier League era. Not even arguably, like he just is. Yeah, great career. If someone tells me that like he's a great player, then I'll throw a few things at them. But that's a separate point. But
it's a good thing to appreciate on the show today, boy. I tell you.
So, but I think with Aga, do you know what it is as well? Like I think culturally as black people, we are, I think, attracted to a certain type of player. In most black homes over the years, 1970s and Brazil team would have just been up there. Everyone loved the skill, the samba. So I think a player like Aga will naturally always be a fan favorite for us. Not to say that's not just I guess because we're black, but I do think we are we have a natural affinity with flair players and players with like that kind of level of class. And I just think Aga just had it all really. Read the game incredibly well. The way he moves with the ball. I think, unfortunately, if I'm being honest, I think probably what held him back was the managers that he played for largely, because he largely played for relatively defensive managers. I think if he had a Klopp or even a Rodgers when he was close to his peak, who would have like encouraged him like if his ball playing, moving the ball out, switching the play, then I think he probably goes up to a next level. But I just think he played for guys who wanted to have that real like defensive shape, and I think that probably kind of held him back a little bit. But I think absolute top class. Probably my top 5, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to be hearing. Definitely top 5. Okay, brother Stoney. Chris Wells says he loved Aga, but was NHS hospital bed model like Cater, but Aga gets more credit for me. Cater was waste of time.
Harsh, man. Harsh, man. Katie gets no love. It's harsh, man.
Bro, we'll save that for another conversation, yeah? For another we get some midfielders, yeah? Don't even know if he's gonna make the list. Stoney.
Yeah, definitely. I think Aga would definitely be in my top 10, probably similar to what Blakey was saying as well. He definitely was a player that had that high level of technical ability. And I know we've mentioned it on previous shows in the other positions about players just having that something that just makes sense. Something that makes you actually want to watch a game or have the remember when Sky originally had the player cam and you had the opportunity, and you had the opportunity just to focus on one individual player, he would be that elk as well. So as I said, he was around other good defenders at that time, but you're right, he was a leader, didn't shirk, was able to stand up for himself, but as you said, unfortunately he just had a series of injuries over the period of time he was actually there. I do believe that as a professional, you could actually see his progression. His main manager there, I think, was it Benitez when he was there?
Yeah.
Rafa Benitez. So I think it's fair that he probably would have been under a manager that's won a series of honors in different countries as well. So yeah, good servant, and will definitely be down in my top 10.
Whereabouts in your top 10?
I don't know. You know what? The only reason I'm going to be honest, he's in my top 10 because remember I said I'm focused on my top 3. So he's in my top 10.
Sound like a politician, you.
I'm being
you understand?
There it is. RT, he's occupying a seat, drinking a nice little Oreo milkshake. He's in the top 10. So that's
the Oreo milkshake. Okay.
Yeah.
Big shouts goes out, Mr. Fitzwarren Brighton. Nice to have you on board, sir. Nice one. And Chris Watt says, I'm harsh, but I'm born that way. No, it's not. Listen, that's your opinion, Chris. And you know what? I actually agree with you, for real. Cater. Anyway, like we said, Prince.
You know what? Daniel Aga, if he didn't have the injury problems that he did incur, he could have been possibly one of the best Premiership defenders that graced the league.
100%.
Like he was class. And this was a great thing about Rafa Benitez back in the day. He plucked these players out, and no one knew. I didn't know much about Danjaga. You know, I knew he played for Denmark, but didn't know too much about him. He came in, he made bringing the ball out from defence look easy. He was adaptable. He had a range of passing. He could defend. He's very clever, very intelligent as well. And it just feel again his career got blighted by just injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you, definitely one of my favourites, mate. Daniel, I used to love watching that guy play, man.
Class.
Absolutely mustard on the ball. Absolutely mustard. Okay, gentlemen, we keep it moving. I said, listen, I feel like I'm not even getting nowhere, man. Jeez. Seriously. You know, I'm only on page 4.
Page 4. How many pages have you got?
I've got 11.
Woo!
That's all right.
There's no, I think there's only about 2 on each page though, so don't worry.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah, so don't worry. Okay, this is another great. We're gonna take it back a bit here now.
Oh, that's good. That's me then.
Yeah. Here we go.
Alan Hansen.
Here we go. Birthplace is Preston. Other clubs include Preston North End, Brighton and Hove Albion, Barnet, Tampa Bay Rowdies, Corby Town, Cheshire United. We brought him from Brighton and Hove Albion for 900,000 in 1981. Made his international debut against Poland. International caps 39 for Ireland, 5 goals. Liverpool debuts 1981, last appearance 1988. His win ratio was 60.11%. That's very high. And his honours include, hold on, gentlemen. You get a deep breath in here. League Championship 81, 82, 83, 82, 83, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. FA Cup 86. League Cup 82, 83, 84. European Cup 84. League games, goals and assists 241, 11 and 9. League games, total games, goals and assists 356, 18, 12.
Mark Lawrenson. Because it was. Remember, it's my year, innit?
The man with the tash.
He's with my other defender. That's what it is.
The man with the tash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Blake, Mark Lawrenson.
So you know what? I have to be honest. I didn't actually see him play that much. But I used to work with. But like I used to work with him many a year ago, and top gentleman, like really nice guy. One of these players who actually looked younger as he got older, which is bizarre. Because when you see him playing in a red shirt, he looks like a real old man. Obviously, I've seen a few highlights, but I can't say that I've really watched him to analyze his game. But obviously, I know that he's one of our greats. But for me to say that I've seen his game properly to analyze it, I'll be kind of making it up. But obviously, I know he's part of that famous partnership with a certain other person who will probably be in everyone's top 3. But nice guy.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
That's nice.
Where does he rank for you then?
I
know it's hard for what you said, but you know about.
I probably got him top 10.
What you have seen.
I probably got him top 10.
Okay. Stoney, I know Stoney's rubbing. Look at Stoney rubbing his chin. He's just
yeah. Listen, Mark Lawrence is in my top 3. Yeah, because I already know who my 1 and 2 is coming into this show, right? So Mark Lawrenson is in my top 3 now. Mark Lawrenson is Mr. Crown Pates. And I also remember him for wearing the away top Crown Pates, similar to color that you're wearing, RT.
Yeah.
The
one with the stripes on it.
Thank you.
The red stripe. Come on.
Yeah. That for me was and look, for anybody that was able to come down and watch the Man United Agenda versus Cop Talk, that day I wore my white version of it. So that's what I'm saying to you about the error is football. that I remember a lot. And I think for Mark Lawrence, if I recall, even though I know we're focused on centre backs, there was a period of time he played left back for us, and he also played like Ruddock. He also played in that defensive midfield position. So he's going to be in my top 3 for a series of reasons: impact, honours, longevity, and the crown paints top. It's as simple as that. But in
the crown paints top.
Yeah,
I like that though. I like that.
Yeah, if you're also looking about leaders, and we're not just talking about domestically, but we're also talking on the European stage, then for me, Mark Lawrenson just has to be in the it has to be in the conversation there as well. Definitely.
Okay.
So yeah.
Big up the fanatic. He says, yep, he was a top class left-footed centre back. Damn right. Damn right. Preds. I know Preds has got some stuff to say. I know this.
Mate, he just formed one of the best ever centre-half pairing the club's ever had. And those are the era when I kind of came on, I was like looking at Liverpool and very unassuming, but very technically good on the ball, defended well, and he
didn't look like it though, did he? Like
no,
exactly.
He
didn't look like that.
He had the Liverpool fans took to him at Liverpool because he just generally looked like a Scouser with the beard and the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, and like Blakey said, he did look like he looks older then, but than he does now, which is nuts. He must have been on hard supply of cocoa butter or something like that. You know what I mean? But listen, he was part of one of Liverpool's most successful career eras, and for that he formed a serious partnership. And with them two at the centre back, you know what? At those years, with them two at centre back, we've won the game.
Yeah,
we've done the game done.
Game done. Job done.
Job done.
So where does he make it for you then, Preds?
He'll be in my top 5.
In the top 5.
Oh,
okay. All right. Okay. We keep it moving, people. We keep it moving. Don't worry, we keep it moving, man. And do remember, people's right. When we get near the end, I do want you to put in your top 3 as well. Yeah, when we get near the end there. So those, remember, press that like, that share, and subscribe. You in the panel, please put in your top 3 for me as well. All right.
Prince is only in his top 5.
Yeah.
Did I have a delay on my feed?
No, he said it's top 5. He was right. Top 5. You heard right. And I'm on page number 5 as he says that. Okay. All right. Who am I, gentlemen?
Who am I?
Yeah, well, we know that. The girl, them sugar. Come on. You know this already, birthplace, Dorchester. Other clubs, Oxford, Southampton, Derby County. Bought him from Derby County in 1981.
Mark Wright.
Jeez, boy.
Who's that? I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, he was right. He was right. Mark Wright. For 2.2 million. Made his international debut versus Wales in 1984. He got 45 international caps, 1 goal. Liverpool debut 1991. Last appearance 1997. His win ratio was 48.1%. Honours was an FA Cup in 92. League games, goals, assists, 158, 5 and 5. Total games, goals and assists, 210, 9 and 7. Dr. Blake. Right. And he was mentioned earlier on in the comments, actually.
It was,
By Fitzwarren said that, yeah.
So I think a similar vibe to Laurel in a sense that one of these guys who was technically better than how he just looked as a person, or just the way he just moved on the pitch with a ball patch, and he just felt a bit untidy. But actually, when you look at his game, he was actually technically quite good. And I'm sure he played wing back a couple of times and played in midfield, and actually he was quite good on the ball as well. And I think for me, because I know he was part of the 1990 World Cup squad for England, right, when he went to 3 at the back, and he looked quite composed on the ball. I suppose he was playing sweeper or something like that. So a good player. And I think for me, where I particularly hold him in high esteem is when we went into that post-Souness era where we were just struggling and the standards dropped. He was just one of the few players who just had that hunger to win and not make standards drop. And I think, although he probably wouldn't have got any thanks for that, and that didn't necessarily lead to the team playing better, but I just feel like for us fans, seeing somebody who was just committed to a sense of excellence, like for me, that was just quite a positive thing to see. So yeah, I probably got Wright possibly in higher esteem than I do someone like Laurel. Not to say I think he's actually a better individual centre back, but I think for me, he probably gave me more as a fan, as an individual, when I was looking for my team, just to show like a bit of pride. So I probably got Mark Wright top 10, probably around 7, 8.
You got him higher than Mark Lawrenson?
Yeah, not necessarily to say that he was a better player, but I think for me, he gave me more than what I got from Laurel.
Because you got to see him play more, that's why.
Yeah, and that's purely because when the team were doing nonsense, he was one of the few players to just hold standards up. And I think sometimes, as I said, this differentiating between great players and players who are playing in great teams. And yeah,
I hear that. Okay. No problem. Stoney. Mr. Mark Wright.
Yeah. I think it's a strange one.
Go on. Tell me he wasn't on your radar as well. Go on.
I was just thinking.
No. He wasn't. You know, the interesting thing is as well, I'm just going to revert back to what I was saying before. We're on air and we're still speaking about players playing for Liverpool that are going to be in our top 3, that even though they had an impact on the pitch and they contributed to Liverpool, we're still speaking about players that ended up their career with not much. That for me sometimes is a concern.
One trophy.
One
FA Cup 92.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So in terms of he was a silky player. I do remember him at the time as well. I know Blakey was speaking about his hair being short. Wasn't his hair kind of like waddle at that stage when they kind of had the mullet, when it was actually, his hair was actually quite long at one stage as well, you know. That's how I remember
earlier on, because he started to lose his hair.
Yeah. That's how I remember.
He started to lose his hair, started to thin out.
Yeah. As you said, player that always played with a smile. But yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one. I'm probably being quite harsh here, because any of the players that I was really thinking about are players that I said come away with some silverware, not just money in the bank, but a conversation they can have with their misses and their grandchildren. And I don't think Mark Wright can really be having that conversation. So
he's got a FA Cup winners medal, mate. What have you got?
Come on, listen. We've got a trophy that you've got in your house right now, bro. That's as much as Mark Wright.
That boy is sharp, you know. That guy is sharp.
Yeah, in case you never know. He's even got the ears as well, you know. So you get me? Yeah.
Champions.
But you know, in going back in all seriousness, though, right? I think sometimes, and I'm just speaking about me here, all right, not about anybody else here. I probably do have to be mindful about not just looking players about stats, because we're not playing FIFA, where it's just all about, you know, how many assists or how many goals you scored. But at that period of time, I have to, you know, 100% agree that Mark Wright will obviously go down as an important player for Liverpool. He would definitely be in my top 10. I do like a combination of defenders that either have that silky approach, high technical ability, or players that can mix it up. And I think Mark Wright was one of those players that were able to. The one thing I am not going to try to profess to say that I recall the players he played for England. So he had to be good because he had 48 caps. So
Terry
he
Butcher,
must have been.
Terry Butcher, Peter Shilton, Gary Parker, Gary Lineker.
Okay. What other centre backs was he playing with at that time for England?
There's Walker.
Yeah.
There you go then. All right, that says it all then, right? Okay.
But you see, like I'm glad, just before we get to you, Pred, sorry. Like Stoney just said about the stats thing as well. So how we judging these players can't just be on honours and stuff like that. We have to be judging the actual players themselves. And Dr. Blake said something earlier. Sometimes it's like the manager that you play under. He probably plays a certain way, you know what I mean? But you have to be judging the players. Because if you're talking about great. If you used to say like, let's talk about great English players and that, you start talking about Gaza and all these players and that. You can't leave out Letitia, but what did he win?
Yeah, true.
But the boy was born to play football.
Mm.
That's a different kind of talent. That's not something that you learn on a training ground. That's naturally gifted talent.
No.
He's one of the best to ever do it, but he's got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
So you have to think about this as well.
Yeah, but you have to be careful. You have to be careful when you say about they've got nothing to show for it, because these are players who've played the game for 10, 12,
No, I mean like in
years.
the trophy cabinet wise, I'm talking.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean.
But you know, they have their memories.
Yeah.
And then they go and write a book. I think Mark Wright. You know what? The memories I can attach with Mark Wright. Did he not have like a bandage on his head most weeks?
He did. You know, he did. He did a few times.
He always put. He was Mr. Mark Wright was a gentleman. He was a gentleman on the pitch. He was a gentleman off the pitch. He was very, very quietly spoken, but his performances spoke volumes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think he came how much did he come for? 2.5.
2.2.
2. You know, that was a British record back in the day.
That doesn't surprise me.
That was a British record for a defender back then. So if you think about it nowadays, people going for 100 million, and they're average players, and you got someone like Mark Wright, who's experienced international player, being bought for 2.2 million. It's nuts. But yeah, he'll be in my top 10.
Okay. All right. Top 10. Okay, gentlemen, we keep it moving because boy, I see time's running and I'm on page 6.
1 minute. 1 minute. I looked at the clock. 1 minute. It was half 30 minutes. I look up at the clock. Ooh.
I'm telling you. All right. Let's get it cracking, gentlemen. All right. You should all get this one. All right. Birthplace is Bootle, Liverpool. Other clubs, none.
Carragher.
That's why I said you should get it straight away. Right?
It's Carragher.
Signed for Liverpool in 1987, turned professional in 1996. International debut versus Hungary, got 38 international caps, no goals. Liverpool debut 97, last appearance 2013. Win ratio is 54%, and his honours include FA Cup 2001, 2006, League Cup 2001, 2003, 2012, UEFA Cup 2001, UEFA Champions League 2005, European Super Cup 2001, 2005. League games, goals and assists 508, 4 and 15. Total games, goals and assists 737, 5 and 19. Sure, a couple of them with some own goals as well. Oh, Carragher. So, talk to me. Jamie Liverpool Carragher. I have to call him Jamie Liverpool Carragher. I have to.
So, first thing, if Brendan Rodgers had showed a bit of vision like what Fergie used to, had brought back players when he had previously realised, when he had come to the viewpoint that they still had something to offer, I think we win the league that season with the Suarez and Sturridge season if Carragher's in that back line. I thought he became a very accomplished player, and there was a period of I'd say about 2 to 3 years where we were very consistent in Europe under Rafa, where I actually thought he was playing at a very, very high level.
When we faced AC Milan twice.
Yeah, in that period, because we were regularly, probably around that, and then after that, because we were regularly making semi-finals. We were strong in Europe, and I thought Carragher was a really good player. Like, obviously not the world's most naturally gifted centre back, but I think almost knew what his limitations were in terms of wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, wasn't the quickest, but I guess understood his game and then could actually, I guess, use what skill set that he had to and I think he kind of optimized that. I hold Carragher in really high regard. I think he was actually a very good performer. And I've probably got him top 5, I think.
Okay. I think, like, you see what you just said there as well. I think all his attributes and what he didn't have as well, I think he made up for with his heart and him being a local boy's love of the club. I think that's what made it. That's what carried him through the rest of it, to be honest.
Yeah, that tackling against AC Milan when he basically gives himself cramp and all that.
Cramp.
Yeah. But it's almost like he's read the play and he almost realizes for me to get there, I've got to just literally break my body, and literally breaks his body to get there. Yeah.
Man. That's what I'm talking about. Miss players like that.
Like for me, that 2005 Champions League, I think that's the biggest single achievement in the club's history, personally.
Don't start him off. He's going to tell you that he was there. Now again, here we go.
Nah, I wasn't. But I just think, in terms of how good we were versus how good they were, especially when I think about who we beat en route to that game as well. For me, you won't find a Champions League final in modern history where there's such a big mismatch. And then for these guys to come through and win like that for me is just massive. Like, absolutely. When you're winning against all odds, for me, I just hold you in the highest regard highest possible regard.
Absolutely. Stoney. Jamie Liverpool Carragher.
Yeah, it'll definitely make within my top 10. I'm not saying we're along the podium. He'll be, but he'll definitely make it in there. I think the interesting thing with Carragher was, and I know he's mentioned it on lots of different occasions. He's been quite public with it. Was the amount of, and we're just speaking on the international scale, right? So the amount of times he played for the under-21s compared to how many times he played for the national team. I'm sure he broke like mad records for the amount of times he played for the under-21s, didn't he? Yeah. Before he was able to break into, the first team, and I think he ended up probably having, I don't know, someone jump in and put it in a chat. I think he probably only just had over 30 or 35 games.
38 international.
38 games, okay, for the national team. I'm not going to give the impression that I recall all the other centre-backs that were available that time.
Rio Ferdinand, Jonathan Woodgate.
Okay, there you go. But I think the thing with Carragher is, remember, he was able to play in two positions, Maybe he played centre-back for us and right-back. Well, yeah.
Left back as well for a period.
Yeah, you're right. And another thing as well, the period of time he was actually with us, he actually played under 7 different managers. 7 different managers he played underneath as well, that long period of time as well. So
he played 737 games. So
that within itself is what you call a one club person, a wonderful servant, as you said, who understand the city of Liverpool, who understand our club. I think he probably played above his own weight, like push class level.
Yeah.
And probably achieved more than he possibly could ever envisage for Liverpool. But definitely within my top 10. And salute to Mr. Jamie Carragher.
Okay. Preds.
You know what? Carragher's story is similar to Stevie G's in regards to come up through the academy, and then he was played in different positions, getting into the side. And then I think it was Rafa, but when Rafa came in, that he actually then settled that centre half. And you can see people was doubting him, saying, he's not tall enough, he can't win his headers. But wow, did they underrate him? He was one of the most underrated players that we've had.
His heart carried him through, bro.
Yeah, his heart. And as he got older, he got better, he got wiser. All right. And I totally agree, in that Brendan Rodgers era, when we when we were 3-0 up at Crystal Palace, put the guy on. You know what I mean? Like, settle him down, settle nerves. We needed that experience on there, and he gives it. And like, mate, listen, for me, he was a shining example to players who weren't technically great, but they made up for it in so many other ways. And he was like the Scouse Baresi, wasn't he? Like, just absolute legend. So he's definitely my top 5.
Sharp, like really mentally sharp, mentally sharp.
Yeah. So, and he weren't letting people get away with stuff either, was he?
No.
Okay, so Mr. Fitzwarren says, yep, LFC been more European finals than any other English club. Oh, standard. Yeah, we know this. We knows this. So before we move on to the next one, I'm just quickly going to point out, but see, sometimes you say things happen for a reason. And I think, if Rodgers had won that, we don't get Jurgen Klopp.
Good point.
Wow.
Things look a lot different.
Wow. That's interesting, isn't it?
I always think that, I'm thinking, you know what? I would have loved for it to happen, obviously, for Stevie G.
Yeah.
But then I think to myself, we then don't get Jurgen Klopp.
Wow.
And take us to another level where we're challenging with City and that. Do you understand? I always think about that. Anyway,
interesting.
Right, we keep it moving, gentlemen.
So can I just drop something in there?
Go for it.
Oh, cool. I'm just gonna drop a little. I'm just gonna provoke Miss Professor Blake. I'm just gonna do a little thing there before we moved on.
Oh,
so imagine if we didn't have Hicks, we wouldn't have FSG. Quick one, let's move on quickly, Archie.
He's right though. Like he's absolutely right. Like, listen, they got that club at an absolute bargain because of obviously we was going into remission and the banks were up. So what? I think they got the club for about 220 or something stupid
something like that.
Yeah, they got that club for absolute pittance.
Okay.
When they've made what the club is now worth, what, 3.5 billion?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they're still begging Buddy cap in hand. Get these guys out, man.
So,
seriously.
Carragher started as a CDM.
He did. Yeah,
started as a CDM. Okay, so right, we move on, gentlemen. Right. Born in 73. Bloody hell, he's played for some teams I can't even pronounce the back foot. Palo, Piquito, Kumino, Kuso, Maipa, William, Bayer Leverkusen.
That's Hippier, man.
Marcus Babbel.
No.
Hippier.
Marcus Babbel?
Centre back. Babbel. Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not Ryan Babbel, you know. Marcus
I was about to say I was like, wait a minute. No, but Dr. Blake is right there, mate.
It's Finnish, isn't it? Yeah. Was it Finland?
Yeah.
Finland. Sammy Hippier.
Bought him from William. Signed him for 2.5 million in 1999. Made his international debut in 1992. International caps 105, 5 goals. Liverpool debut 1999. Last game 2009. His win ratio is 55.6%. Very decent. His honours include FA Cup 2001, 2006, League Cup 2001, 2003, UEFA Cup 2001, Champions League 2005, European Super Cup 2001, 2005. League games, goals and assists, 318, 22 and 8. Wow, 22 goals in that. Total games, goals and assists, 464, 35 and 11. It's a big record.
Yeah.
35 goals from a centre half.
Yeah.
That's big. That's massive. So, Ross, talk to me. Sammy,
you know what? Hip is one of these really strange guys, right? Who you can see the class, you can see how good he was, but there was something about him that maybe it was the lack of pace. But I know obviously he made up for it in other ways. But I almost feel that although he was obviously he was always the star centre back, but I feel he was very reliant on his centre back partnership. Like in a way that I almost feel if you take Concho or you take, say, Carragher, I almost feel like we often think about them as being, say, the more limited, say, part of that centre back pairing. But I actually think with someone like Hippier, although he got the plaudits, I think he was equally as relying on his more mobile, more dynamic kind of centre back partnership. So I don't know, absolute class player, but yeah, I think he's one of these players who if he's playing in the modern game, he would struggle a little bit, in my opinion. but I do rate him highly. But I don't know. There's something about Hippier where I probably got him top 10. But I do see why people rate him highly. But I almost feel like he got the plaudits because he was like the thinking man of the back line and scored the goals. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel, yeah, I don't know. There's something lacking for me to kind of
sneeze that, man. 35.
No.
That's not to be sneezed at.
Totally top,
right.
like top player, top player. But yeah, I don't know. I've probably got him top 10 versus top 5.
Stoney.
Well, as you said, before he came to Liverpool, he had actually won 10 Footballer of the Year awards. That's a conversation there, right? I thought he was really
10
good.
Footballer of the Year awards, but where?
It doesn't matter. He still won them.
In where though?
It doesn't matter. What did you?
Of course it does, bro. That's like talking about the people who win beer awards in Scotland.
What was the previous?
Come on, fam.
What was the previous? Before we moved on to
Come
this,
on.
Artie, you said something before we moved on to this point.
Yeah.
You said it's good that players have won stuff in their career, regardless of what they've won, as long as they won something. Let the man have his stickers and his awards, man. Don't take that away from him, brother, man. You can't take that. You can't do that to him. But anyway, moving on. You are correct in saying that. Professor, you just made a really good point here about how Sami Hyypiä played as the thinking centre back. So he played under Rafa Benitez, is that right?
Yeah.
Under Rafa.
And Houllier as well.
And Houllier. We brought in this player that I'm going to mention. I think we only probably bought him in as a stopgap. Do you remember we bought in his name Mauricio Pellegrino is from Valencia. From Valencia, right?
Yeah.
So that partnership that for those seasons would have been Honcho and Hyypiä. And you know, even though I've mentioned my viewpoint about Honcho separately, we're just speaking about partnerships. So they had a good partnership. But I think when Hyypiä wasn't able to play, and I think Rafa probably saw him dipping, I think he was probably then looking at a stopgap with Pellegrino. And they actually did play the same because they almost played like centre-backs. So there's a couple of the players we've spoken about that played in that centre-back position. So I have just mentioned Pellegrino. We've mentioned Hyypiä played there. Mark Wright played in that similar position, and so did Ruddock. All completely different centre-backs, all different type players, but could also play in those different type positions. For me, Hyypiä is a player by himself. Hyypiä, you can probably almost forget about him, but as a partnership, then he can be in the conversation. But yeah, he was a Mr. Reliable though. In fairness,
100%.
and probably similar to Carragher, he was able to read the game. He definitely wasn't fast. He was probably about as fast as Mertesacker that Arsenal had. So he wasn't a rapid player, but he could
turn quicker, mate.
Yeah. He could actually read the game, and he would put his body where the ball was to actually, prevent any goals or any crosses or anything actually coming in. But as I said, as a partnership, definitely would make it. If he was by himself, then I think he's scraping my top 10.
Big shouts, Mr. Fitzwarren. He says positional sense, but no pace. And what have I spoken about how many times on this show, gentlemen? Pace is an advantage. You don't have to have pace if you can read the game because you're already 2 steps ahead. Pace is just an advantage. Remember that. Friends.
Many strikers have come out and said that he was one of the toughest opponents they've ever played against. I remember meeting him once. I remember meeting him once, and obviously he's an absolute colossal of a guy, but he just looks serious. Serious, and he's he's serious about his job. He was serious about football. He wanted to win. He was a great servant to Liverpool. Stayed in Liverpool for 10 years.
I just realised that now when I was reading that. I saw 464 games. I didn't realise he played that many games.
Yeah.
Great signing.
Great signing. So for me, I'm going to say he's top 5, but he's scraping the 3. He's in the 3, getting there. I really liked him, man. Really loved him.
Yeah. I rated him as well. I rated him.
And set pieces as well, and Danny Murphy put it on a plate for him. Oh,
100%. Okay, we move on, Jem. We move on. Oh, this guy's born 2 days after me. Not years though. Not in years.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Just birth dates. Yeah. Birthplace is Barrow-Furness in England. Other clubs include Blackpool, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Rotherham United, Hull City, Mansfield Town, Swansea. We bought him from Blackpool for 65 grand in 1967. International debut. What did you say, Prince?
Tomo.
No. International debut, 1969. International caps, 62, 1 goal. Liverpool debut, 67. Last appearance, 1979. Win ratio, 53.8%. And his honours include League Championship, 72, 73, 75, 76, 76, 77, 78.
Ron Yates.
No.
Oh.
FA Cup, 74. European Cup, 77, 78. UEFA Cup, 73, 76.
Wow.
Footballer of the Year, 77. European Super Cup, 77.
Emlyn Hughes.
Mr. Crazy Horse. Okay, Prince. League games, goals, 474, 35. Total games and goals, 665, 49. 49 goals. It was a different era, but 49 goals. Okay, so Ross, I'm sure you're not going to remember too much about this guy.
So, you know, it's interesting because, like, I've got a few old school tapes and I was going to say DVDs, but actually, like, they're tapes. So I've actually seen Hughes play quite a bit, more so than, say, Laurel, which is interesting. I know. Yeah, like, obviously not to the same extent of the current players, but yeah, absolute LFC legend. Probably a better player than what I think history has seen him, because I think possibly history focuses on Hughes the man and what he meant to the club as a individual versus just how good of an actual player he was. And obviously he played in different positions and he played for such a long time. But I think for me, it would definitely be in the top 10. Hard to judge where though. I probably got him, 6. Based on what I would say that I know about how good he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 6. All right, Stoney.
You see the thing with Elman Hughes was the conversation I think we were having last week when the panel had decided who was going to be the best left back. So for me, I think the main thing was, and I know Preds obviously mentioned it last week. My memory was, even though that he was able to play in those various positions, my knowledge of him was playing at the left back, not as the centre back. So even though we were speaking about the centre back position this week, he wasn't on my radar. It was more for last week. But Elman Hughes is in the conversation. So if we're looking at honours, we're looking at, he's a big boy like Alan Kennedy, who we were speaking about last week, and left back. So if we're just speaking about impact, we're looking about Price. I mean, I forgot that he obviously played for Barrow. Ron Yates played for them as well. But if we're looking about honours, if we're looking about impact, if we're looking about versatility in positions, if we're looking about versatility in formations, if we're looking about what he's won domestically and European level, he's definitely in the conversation. What it then does now,
it throws horrible, bro.
It throws a little spanner in the work for me now, because then who was going to be in my top 3 gets moved to the top 4. So if Elman Hughes is now in the conversation at centre back, he's definitely in the top 3 for me. Definitely. That's without a shadow of a doubt. And as he said, the same thing we were speaking about Mark Wright. He managed to have 48 caps, I think you guys had mentioned, for England. Elman Hughes ended up having about 62 caps. So yeah, absolutely wonderful player. And you know, the same thing we speak about players that play with grace. If there's any younger viewers on here, go back, access, you know, the YouTube and what. He was like Maldini. Yeah. He was like, for me, he was like Maldini. That's the closest that's the closest thing I can think of players probably thinking, who did he actually play like he didn't see. So yeah.
Okay. Preds.
Oh, mate, absolute legend, mate. What can you say about Emlyn Hughes, which has not already been said before? He brought great enthusiasm, great energy, could run all day.
So you got that name Crazy Horse, isn't it?
Yeah, all day. And like Stoney said, he's actually, you know, he played with grace, and the way, you know, in all the footage I've seen him, I very rarely saw him dive into tackles. Like, you know, as a centre half, you're obviously going to dive into the last ditch tackles, but for him, and it was just down to his intelligence of the football pitch and defensive plays, and he just, you know, he went in there, he took the ball, and then just passed it off simple. Absolute legend, and he's definitely in my top 3.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's definitely in my top 3. Okay.
Yeah, do you know what? He's probably like in my top 5 as I actually think about it, to be fair. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we move on swiftly, gentlemen. Move on swiftly. I'm on page 9 now. We're getting there. It's nearly that time, man. Nearly that time. All right. This one should be pretty easy, gentlemen. Who am I? Other clubs include Groningen, Celtic, Southampton.
And Dijk. The boss. Come on. The boss.
Oh, I was drinking at the time.
You know what? When I was gonna say where we bought him from, I was gonna say signed for NFC. I was gonna say in 2018, but I weren't gonna say the 75 million fee. That's too easy. Too easy, gentlemen.
You should have said that we bought him from Liverpool's what you call it, club. Feeder club.
International debut 2015 versus Kazakhstan. International caps only 54. 6 goals. Liverpool debut 2018 to present. His win ratio though 69.82%. That's one of the highest I've seen so far. His honours: 2019 PFA Player of the Year, 2018-19 Premier League Player of the Year, Champions League, 2019 UEFA Player of the Year 2019, UEFA Defender of the Year 2019, European Super Cup 2019, FIFA World Cup 2019, Premier League 2019-2020, League Cup 2022, FA Cup 2022.
Jeez.
League games, goals and assists 161, 16 and 4. Total games, goals and assists 222, 19 and 7. Dr. Race, what can you say about the boss man Van Dijk?
Do you know what? As it's 11:30, I'm not going to try and say too much. I could be here for half an hour. Where to start? Sorry, like I need like 10 minutes here. Okay. Apologies, people. Apologies. Firstly, I think a really interesting career, because like you said, only had 54 caps, and probably 20 of those caps have probably come in the last 18 months to 2 years. If you look at his career around 2018, when we would have signed him, probably had about
38 of those caps have come while he's been at Liverpool.
Yeah,
and that's in 2018.
Yeah. He's had hardly any caps, and you think to yourself, it's almost like the theme of this guy's career is a constant disrespect, and I'm gonna come on to that like in a second. You think to yourself, when we signed him, for me, he was head and shoulders the best centre back in the Premier League, and had been for at least 18 months. Hence why Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea are all in for him. But yet, if you were to like research some of those Dutch squads around 2017, when he is a boss at Southampton and he's not making it over some dead bread, you think to yourself, how is it that this absolute juggernaut is just here to get mocked? Now, the next way he's getting mocked is there's a certain man who literally turns up, shouts, does the shuffle, and literally takes what Van Dijk has actually, well, should I say, lifts what Van Dijk should be lifting. Because for me, this man came to the club and lifted the team on his back. This is the first man who I've ever seen join LFC in a modern era where he just said to everyone, don't worry, you look to me for confidence, for inspiration, and I am the guy. And the impact he has had on his teammates is exceptional. The way he gives those players confidence, calmness to execute what is quite dangerous, quite high risk tactics is something that I just don't think you're going to see, I guess, happen anytime soon. And I just think, forget the best centre back. It's very rare that we've had an LFC player who, pound for pound, is like one of the best players in the world, irrespective of his position. With someone like Van Dijk, forget best centre back, one of the best players, in the world, full stop. Hence why he's number 2 on the podium to Lionel Messi for like Ballon d'Or. Like, this is a high caliber centre back. For me, the best all-round centre back I've seen in the Premier League era, and I'm talking about reading the game, pace, acceleration, turning, passing, shooting, dribbling, managed to score free kicks, absolute whole shebang, strength, composure, absolute everything, and played every single game, every single minute. Like, for me, absolute GOAT, number 1, Van Dijk. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's
Well, Stoney, Fred, I don't think we even need to go.
sorry.
It's all been said.
I actually love the guy.
I don't even know if he's left anything for you to say.
Apologies, people. Apologies.
You know what I will say, what the good thing about that is, I now know that you work for his agent.
Yeah.
That's all I'd say. Listen, I think there's very little I can actually add to that, other than we obviously purchased a player that, apart from when he had the cruciate ligament rupture and his hamstring injury, you've got somebody who plays all the time. Yeah. So that cruciate, what kept him out, like, nearly 254 days. When he had his hamstring, I think it was like just over 40 days, and then he was rested for 10 days during a period of time when we were playing. Other than that, he's a mainstay. So if you're looking at a player that is, consistently playing, consistently contributing to success, not just on the field but off the field, that's a gladiator there. And I think the other point that about his success and how good he is, the hate that Liverpool fans were getting at the minor game that he would drop from his own level of expectation and ours. The hate and the scorn from the other fans made me really, really, really value him even more and understand the importance of Van Dijk actually playing for us as well. He's a leader. He's a captain. And as you said, he allows us to play in the manner in which Klopp actually wants us to play defensively as well. So as I said, praise be. And his hair's always nice as well. I ain't got hair like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's in my top 3, definitely.
Okay, Prince.
Well, I don't know if there's anything left to say.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
All I'm going to say is that it was quite evident what he meant to Liverpool and the players when he had that period out, because it was a huge loss. I think he's everything that everyone's said so far, but I'm going to be a bit controversial, and I'm going to say he hasn't made my top 3 yet.
That's fair enough.
But I'm only saying that because he's still playing and he's got so much more to give and so much more to win. So I'll probably he'll be positioned in another slot.
All right, is he in your top 5?
I'm not even going to put him in that rating because,
I get that.
He's still playing.
He's still playing.
Yeah, he's still playing, and like I said, I love the guy. I couldn't say anything highly enough of him. But yeah, I love the kid. He's a GOAT. Long may his reign continue. And yeah, that's me.
Okay.
I promised I said I wasn't going to do anything this show, and I'm only going to do a little bit. I'm going to be a bit provocative.
No.
No. The only reason why I'm going to be a bit provocative is Preds has obviously mentioned that this gentleman's not going to be in his top 3. Rightly so, because he's still playing. But last week, you guys ended up picking Andy Robinson as your left back.
Oh, yeah, he's got a point there. All right. Well, he's
Come
definitely
on.
in my top 3.
Come on.
Phony, man. Yeah, but listen, we're talking about centre halves now. We're talking about centre halves. We're talking about a different position. And
doesn't matter. It's the same principle.
Oh, Stoney, why are you bringing gas out here, bro?
Give you a 6 for a 9 there, but it's a different position.
Boy.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
but hold on. About 60 seconds. It's about 60 seconds ago. You lot were like the nodding dogs. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
No, don't try that.
I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, don't try that. Yeah. Friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, big shouts goes out to Ensman TV. Big up. Nice of you to lock on, my brother. All right, let me see now.
Can I just also add with Van Dijk, last point, very last point. The bad luck he got from Pickford was horrible. Like, I mean, in a sense of you haven't seen that tackle from a goalkeeper since.
I should hope
how
not.
many games, and that's how many games.
Not.
Like, it's almost like he couldn't be stopped, and they literally assaulted him on the pitch, and then not even like a red card. It's almost like his brilliance has just been matched with just the way he's been mocked in his career at times. And
Okay, so just quickly before we move on, I know time is running, gentlemen, but I just have to ask this question. Like, he hasn't come back to the levels that he was though? And can you see him getting back to them levels?
That's a crucial ligament injury, man. That's a serious injury. It's even with all the medical
people
science,
say it's in the mind now.
Okay.
When he plays, that it's in his mind.
It's a serious injury, but
of course,
with the medical science that's here quite currently, and the advances that's been made, I fully expect VVD to get back to how he was. You got that period of time where he's been. You got to remember, even though he's a juggernaut, he's a gladiator, he's still a human being. He still has to get to the tempo and the running of games and everything like that. So I believe and hope that he regains that immense form that he had before he got injured.
Okay. All right.
So I think last season it was wrongly characterized in a sense of people put that down to the injury. I don't think that was down to the injury last season. There was probably a few games after he came up from the hamstring injury when it felt like he wasn't always sprinting flat out, and he was just doing just enough just to kind of keep up with players. But I think back end of the season that we got to the Champions League final, then I feel he got to a very high level again, not to his previous levels, but to a very high level. Whereas the start of that season, like you'd see him in games because it was his right side, and it's almost like if he was turning right, he would turn right from the left. So it's almost like he would turn it like round that way to then run back that way. Yeah. And I felt that was him not having full faith in the knee. So I think start of that season, you probably saw him not having full confidence. But yeah, I think he will return to a good level again. I just think last season he was pissed off that certain man in the team were like claiming plaudits and not doing anything for it.
All right, gentlemen, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. 4 to go.
Okay.
Before we wrap this up, man. 4 to go. Okay, so birthplace in Scotland, other clubs, Partick Thistle.
Alan Hansen.
Yeah.
Bought for 100 grand. Imagine that, 100 grand. In 1977. International debut in 79. International caps only 26. Imagine that. Liverpool debut 1977. Last appearance 1990. His win ratio is 58.87%, and his honours include League Championship 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 titles. FA Cup twice. League Cup 1, 2, 3. European Cup 1, 2, 3. European Super Cup once. 434 games, 8 goals, 11 assists. Total games, goals and assists 620, 14 and 19. What can we say, Dr. Blake, about the legend that is Mr. Alan Hansen? Alan cool as a cucumber Hansen.
Yeah, I think we're talking about
Alan cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, Like, I think we're talking about absolute mustard here, aren't we? Like, we're talking like the elite of the elite, exceptional talent, exceptional career as well, and obviously a very classy player as well. And I think actually, when you think about his career honors, you have to factor into the fact that because of Heysel, we probably had 2 to 3 years where he didn't even play in the European Cup, that we probably like would have won it as well, or we would have had a very strong chance of winning it. So yeah, listen, I think Hansen's gonna be in most people's top 2, and yeah, for me, that's just where he is. Absolute class. I think we're talking like greatest of all time type levels of players here, not even best Liverpool centre backs. I think we're talking about like top British centre backs ever. Well, to be fair, top even European centre backs ever. Yeah,
levels.
elite.
Okay. All right. Before we move on to Stoney, Ensman is saying that he will be back, and that's talking about Van Dijk. Reckons that he will be back to his best, basically. Okay. Stoney.
I'm just conscious. I'm just extremely conscious of the time, so I'm going to keep it very simple. Alan Hansen is my number 1, so I've left it there. I was just waiting for that moment anyway. Anybody's unsure of him, do your research, and then you'll understand why I'm saying that. So I hand it over to you, Preds.
Jeez, short and sweet. Preds, we can't hear you. Can't hear you. What have you done, bro?
His mic's gone.
No.
He's
your number one. He's your number one. Okay, I understand that. All right, cool. I don't know what you've done, bro. All right, we'll keep it moving swiftly. Next. Okay. Birthplace Kensington. Other clubs, Sheffield United on loan. And then the transfer. We bought him from local, signed for LFC in April 1970.
Phil Thompson.
Tomo.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back now. You're back, Prince. Yep, Tomo. That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's crack through this quickly. International debut 76 versus Wales. Liverpool debut 72. Last appearance 83. Win ratio 56.8%. His league honours include League Championship 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. FA Cup 1. League Cup 1, 2. European Cup 1, 2. UEFA Cup 1, 2. European Super Cup 1. League games, goals, assists 347 and 5. Total games, goals, and assists 477, 13 and 10. What a career!
It's mad. And you know, RT, that's some. I mean, even what you've just reeled off there, right? And then you think of some of the other centre backs that the panel's obviously spoken about today, and the left back and the right back that we've spoken about before. It is just no coincidence that Liverpool basically ran the 70s and the 80s, because you're looking at right backs, Steve Nicol and Phil Neal. We mentioned Alan Kennedy, left back, and look at all of the centre backs you've mentioned today: Alan Hansen, Mark Lawrenson.
I'm telling you,
and Phil Thompson there.
And there's still more to come.
Yeah, there would have been no hope for anybody else.
It's true. Real talk. Dr. Blake, quickly, let's run through Phil Thompson quickly.
Yeah, didn't see enough of him to really give a huge critique of his game. Obviously, I've seen a bit, but yeah, absolute GOAT career. And yeah, kind of a club icon, man.
Okay, so Reds.
Yeah, just going back, Alan Hansen's my number 1, and Tomo, fantastic fella, great servant for the club. Done everything for him, from being playing to assistant manager to caretaking manager as well. So yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, so a very great servant of the club.
Yeah.
Okay, Stoney.
Just basically won everything in football, domestically and European wise. So as you said, his records are there for all to see, and yeah, definitely within my top 10.
Okay, brilliant. Right, 2 to go, gentlemen. 2 to go. Okay, so another one. Birthplace in Liverpool. Other clubs include Tampa Bay Rowdies, Los Angeles Aztecs, Swansea City. Bought him from local. Joined in 1960. Professional 1962.
Ron Yates.
International debut 71. Liverpool debut 63. International caps only 1. Last appearance was 78. Win ratio 53.76%. Honours include League Championship 1, 2, 3, 4, FA Cup 1, 2, European Cup 1, UEFA Cup 1, 2, European Super Cup 1, League games, goals 467-36, total games and goals 638 and 48 goals. Who am I talking about?
Ron Yates.
No.
Oh,
Tommy Smith.
Ooh.
Tommy Smith.
Tommy Smith.
Oh.
Okay.
They both played at the
Let's
same
keep
time.
this one going, gentlemen. So
Didn't see enough. Didn't
Yeah.
see enough. Didn't see enough to comment. But I just think when you got those kind of records, yeah, like you're just club royalty.
Most definitely. 48 goals. That's big, man. Tony?
Same thing as well. My knowledge would have been very little. Even though they played before my era, we still got access to YouTube and stuff like that. But that probably wouldn't allow me to even get a small inkling of the importance that he would have played for Liverpool. So yeah. That's just me there.
Preds? I know Preds was about them time there still.
Wow.
Gunshot.
Wow. See?
Preds was about 21 them time there.
Don't let my advanced knowledge fool you, man.
Tell him again.
You know what?
Wisdom.
Yeah, a bit of wisdom, man. You know what? Ron Yates, if Skirtle wanted to be a hard man, he then needed to take a leaf out of this man's book. This man
Smith.
was, Tommy Smith was the Anfield Iron, mate. He went through brick walls, mate. And for that, mate, like Blake, you said, royalty, mate.
Okay, last on the list. Last on the list now. Birthplace Aberdeen, Scotland. Other clubs include Dundee United,
Gary Gillespie,
Stalbridge Celtic, Los Angeles Skyhawks, Barrow, Santa Barbara Condors, Formby. Bought him from Dundee for 22 grand in 61.
Oh no!
International debut 64. Liverpool debut 61. Last appearance 71. His win ratio is 54.19%. Honours include League Championship 63, 64, 65, 66. Second Division 61 and 62. FA Cup 65. League games, goals and assists 358 and 13. Total games and goals 454, 16.
Wow. I don't know.
I can't believe you lot are stuck, man. You've said his name about 10 times.
Ron Yates.
Oh, Ron Yates.
Thank you very much. I'm like, yo, when I actually read him now, you don't get him.
I think for me, he'll be in the same boat for me as Tommy Smith. I know they both would have played. They both would have played at the same era. I think they actually played in the same teams as well. So once again, as you said, the records
they did play similar times. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, records are there. And yeah, I just have to do my own research to be able to appreciate these players a little bit more as well.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. So, Ross, you got anything to say on him? Or is before your time?
Yeah, before my time, man. Again, seeing clips, seeing goals, seeing a few highlights, but not to kind of critique his game like at a level that I'd want to. So yeah, for me, just club legend.
Okay. Preds, I know you had a few Guinnesses with him back in the day.
And a couple of whiskeys before the game as well. You know what? I saw this recently. It was on the LFC TV, and it was like they were doing nostalgia clips. And the press conference, Shankly, when he signed him, Shankly actually told the press officers, look, do you want to take a tour around him, because he was so big and massive, and he was just like the rock of Liverpool side back in those days. So yeah, he's long time secured his place as a Liverpool great.
All right, peoples, do remember, hit that like, that share, that subscribe. Now it's your time. For you there in the comments, please join in as well and give me your 1, 2, 3 of your centre backs. But I also want your number 1 and 2 partnership. I want that partnership, peoples. All right, that's what we need right now.
Mate, they're gone back. They're gone to bed.
Yeah, well, now Ends man is up, man. His name's Ends-man, bro. He don't sleep.
He don't sleep.
You know, Ends-man don't sleep, bro. Come on,
Everyone's like, yeah, we'll catch the show tomorrow, man.
Ends-man goes to sleep about 8 o'clock in the morning. That's when he goes to sleep. You get me? All right, Ross, because you was number 1 on the list. You was first. I need your 1, 2, and 3, and then I want your 1 and 2. Who's your partnership?
So
you can get them in 3, 2, 1. You can go 3, 2, 1.
So third place, I think I'm gonna change, and I think I'm gonna go Lawrence. And I know I had him top 10 before. I'm just thinking about it now. I think I'm gonna go Lawrence in number 3. I'm gonna go Hansen number 2, and I'm gonna go Van Dijk number 1. And I think my centre back partnership is probably a little bit different. I think I'm gonna go Van Dijk and Jamie Carragher.
Oh, he's total okay.
I think Carragher's aggression and the way he likes to defend on the front foot, I think that will complement what Van Dijk does very nicely. And I think Carragher's just more outwardly vocal style. I think would see Van Dijk just hit a ridiculous level of form. So yeah.
Okay. Slowly, your 1, 2, 3, and then your partnership, please.
Okay, so
your 3, 2, 1, and then your partnership.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, as I said, it did change. I was hoping that Van Dijk was going to be in there, but unfortunately, he's been moved out. So my third place would be Mark Lawrenson. My second place was Elmin Hughes, and my first place was Alan Hansen. And my partnerships are Alan Hansen and Elmin Hughes.
Okay. Okay, Preds, your 3, 2, 1, please, and then your partnership.
I've already given my explanation why I'm not picking VVD, so we're going to move on from that. 3 is going to be Jamie Carragher. 2 is going to be mate, this is, as I said that, I changed my mind. 2, I'm going to go.
It's too hard.
Yo, he said, I'm gonna go, and then he goes, I'm gonna go.
Jamie Carragher. You know what? I'm gonna go Jamie Carragher, Mark Lawrenson, and Alan Hansen, and my 2 centre half pairing is going to be Alan Hansen and Mark Lawrenson.
Hold on. Who's your number 1? Alan Hansen.
Oh yeah, Alan Hansen, definitely.
And your pairing's gonna be
Hansen and Lawrenson, because it's just my era. That was like, yeah, what? Yeah, you know. I know you're saying that I look a little bit older than
you was a big man to them, boy. There, don't worry yourself. You're good. Okay, all right. So, all right. Well, gentlemen, we have to make a decision on one of the partnerships. So you've got Hansen in 2 people's votes. So Hansen definitely makes the partnership, but we need 1 more to add to that partnership, because we've got VVD, we've got Caro, we've got Loro, we've got Emlyn. So we need to make a decision. Someone needs to join Hansen in that partnership to add to the team list of so far of Ray Clements, Phil Neal, and Andy Robertson.
So I would say the 2 best individuals are Van Dijk and Hansen. I'm not necessarily sure if that's the best partnership, but I probably think both of them are so good they could do everything. So yeah, I think it's either you go with Van Dijk or you go with Loro, personally.
Okay, Stoney. Someone needs to partner Hansen.
I know, I'm still a bit stubborn here. The reason why I'm saying, because the other person to do Hansen, who are the other people? Van Dijk?
Preds. It was a Pred. You and Preds had Hansen.
Yeah, and the other.
You had Emlyn, Loro, and then Dr. Blake had VVD and Cara.
So it's Elmin Hughes.
Elmin Hughes for you.
Yeah, the reason why I say that as well, justification for that. Elmin Hughes could also play the sweeper, centre back, or step into defensive midfielder. So he would actually be able to complement the way that Alan Hansen played.
Okay.
So the same thing as well. He could either play in front of Hansen or behind him, and that's my justification for doing it as well. And remember, he could also, if Liverpool was to ever play in a free, he could also play at left back as well.
Okay. All right, Prince.
I'm not changing it. I'm not changing one iota. The fact of the matter is that Lawrence and Hansen formed a formidable partnership for many, many seasons, and the proof is in the pudding. In regards to how they complemented each other. So yeah, I'm being completely stuck.
I'm now going to go to the votes of your 1, 2, and 3 to make that decision, gentlemen.
Okay.
And obviously, you know who that is. Then
Mark Lawrenson.
You all voted for him, so it's got to be the man with the tash.
Fair point. I think that's for me. That's the best LFC partnership we've seen. So yeah.
100%. So our defense is looking like this. So we sorted out the defense, gentlemen. So it's Ray Clements, Phil Neal, right back, Andy Robertson, left back, and centre halves, Alan Hansen and Mark Lawron. So next week, peoples, we will move on to our wingers next week. That might be a 3-hour show.
Boy.
You know what?
I'll say it now.
I might have to narrow it down. I might have to narrow it down next week. You don't have to let me know what you think. So next week, what we might do is we might have to just do right wing. The week after we do left wing, because if I try to do both of them again, the amount of players that I'm going to go down, I might have more than 11 pages this time.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do.
All right. Yeah. So I think we're going to have to narrow it down and do one at a time, gentlemen. So we'll do right wing next week, left wing the week after.
Perfect.
I think that's
where does Mo Salah fit into that?
He plays on the right wing.
He plays on the right wing.
Makes it hard.
Everybody I'm picking is who plays in that position.
Yeah.
Because
we're playing
whether they play
4-4-2, isn't it?
But what I'm talking about, the majority of their game is in that position. So that's where they'll be picked for.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? Mo's unique, right? Because realistically, he is a striker. He just plays wide.
I think this is a
new era of the game.
I think this is a conversation next week.
Yeah. Personally, it's Barnes and Mane, but anyway. But anyway, next week. Can't wait.
Definitely. I must say, listen, brilliant debut, Toros. Excellent debut, mate.
Thank you, gents. Thank you.
We look forward to having you back. Thanks very much for coming on. Preds.
Hey, good evening. Be safe, everyone. And sorry,
always good to have someone who was about when it was only black and white. We need to give us.
What a cheek this brother is. Face favor bullfrog. What I'm saying.
When you had to share bath water and them thing there.
Oh, mate.
It's always good to have some insight from this.
Don't worry, Blake. You let him enjoy it, mate. Let him enjoy it.
Oh man.
I'll be back. It's all in the locker. Noted.
Snowdy, my brother, always a pleasure. Always, mate.
Thank you very much, sir.
Having you on, mate.
Thank you.
Trust me.
Stoney looks older than me.
Don't be doing that.
Boy, it's weird. You know what? You see, one thing with Mandem and agent, it's always political, boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Always political.
Do remember, it's all about Cop Talk each and every Thursday, 10 o'clock, right here. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, mate. And if you didn't watch it tonight, make sure tell your peoples watch it tomorrow. It's there for you, yeah? Peace out. Love.